I felt, I felt like we were doing some things at times, like we were getting it done. But it seems like every time we got down there inside the 20, they just, I don't know, they stepped up, and we couldn't manage the game as good as we should have. And just, the play calling, I never criticize the coach for play calling. We got to execute. And execution obviously wasn't there when we got inside the 20, and that's just something you can't let that happen if you're going to come up here and play a big physical defensive front and a bunch of guys that don't make mistakes. You can't win if you can't score, obviously. And your defense had a big score, and that should have gave us some momentum to go down the field. And we were able to go down the field, 3 or 4 times, just not having the ability to score inside the red zone. And that's, obviously you cannot win. We won't win a game if we can't do that. So, it's frustrating.
Big picture. I was just going to say they lost Albright, but Holloway had some big plays. Some of those negative yardage plays that sort of put y'all behind the chains. Was he pretty?
Yeah,
did he bother y'all?
I don't think so when I blocked him, but I think they got a good defensive front, and I knew going into this bunch of tough guys who's going to play as hard as they can. The 2 inside guys played hard. The 2 ends played hard a lot. That's just discipline, and you can't expect them to make mistakes. You got to just physically whoop them. And it's not that we didn't. It's just that we drove the ball down inside the 20. It was just, like I said, just errors and not successfully doing what we should have done.
I guess 4-4 now. The division hopes are pretty slim. What does the team's leadership have to do to kind of change the season's momentum?
Well, from a big perspective, obviously the ACC championship is probably out of sight. So you got to look at it from a bowl perspective. We're still 4-4 and got a chance to win out and go to a pretty good bowl. So you got to kind of grab guys and just make them understand that the season's not lost yet. We've been going to bowls around here for a long time, and that's something that I don't expect us to stop doing. So we got to make sure the younger guys understand that, and even as vets on the team, we got to just carry the guys, because there's going to be frustration, man. You can't. Even we're all frustrated, not understanding what's going on. It's just something we expected to come up here and beat these guys and have a chance to be in the division, win the division. And obviously we didn't get that done. But there's still some things on the table that we can still accomplish.
What makes your defense so good against the run?
I feel like the first half they didn't come to play as much as we wanted to. In the second half, they just took the challenge and stepped up to the plate, man. They just played them against them every day in practice. If I could just be straight up honest with you, they're just big guys that get after. We got a bunch of good guys on the defensive front. Linebackers play sound, and Jarvis and Yams and Brandon Thomas, sorry. And the DNs, they're a bunch of big guys who you're not going to have, if you can't run, you're not going to be able to run the ball on these guys. And I know that from practicing every